Hi all you beautiful people, friends and family all around the world. I want to reach out to you and just share some of the things I feel that have been coming these last days, and what I feel that we're all learning. So I hope you feel that you are moving forward in your life, that good things are happening, and that whatever is difficult, that you can sense how you're learning to embrace it with peace and with trust, and this inner knowing that nothing really happens without a reason. And the more difficult something is, the more learning there is for us. So we are in a time right now with enormous change. So according to people who know these things, one of the reasons is that the Earth, the planet that we're living on, is moving into an area of the cosmos where the energy, God's source energy, is very, very high vibrational. So everything is moving up in vibration. And the old world we were used to, that was driven by fear and driven by the masculine qualities, the negative masculine qualities, which really we all contain, the power struggles, the conflict, really an ego-controlled world. We're moving away from that and into a world where the divine feminine is coming into play more and more, and is going to be the driving force. So we all contain the masculine and the feminine, so it's not really about men and women. But the divine feminine is the creative, the flowing, the emotional, the intuitive, this little dancing child within us. It's coming out to play. And we can't stop it. The joyful, balanced, creative little child within us is coming out to play. And so life, as we go on this journey and we don't resist the change, which is a very, very big component in this, the change is pushing us in different ways in our lives, pushing us out of relationships, into relationships, out of jobs, into jobs or no jobs. It's pushing us into more and more freedom. And the more we resist the change, the more difficult it is. The more we go with the change, but keep feeling what's right for me. What do I want to do? How do I wish to live my life? The more we go this way, the easier it is. And the more we will feel how this playfulness is manifesting more and more. So it's absolutely fascinating. So this change is happening and we can't stop it. No matter what we do, we can't stop it. So, and some people aren't meant to go through this change because they're just not ready, and so they're on a different path, and one day they will be ready. So I want to share with you a man I have found on the internet, and I have seen him before. I just haven't shared about him here on the channel. And his name is Robert Schwartz. And he's written a few books, one that's called Your Soul's Plan, another that's called Your Soul's Gift. And just shortly, his story was that he was a he had this job in business. He was self-employed, and for many, many years. And when he was about the age of 40 in 2003, he could sense that there was something completely wrong in his life. It's like he was in this box that I've talked about so many times. He was in this box, and he was not expressing himself authentically and creatively. And as he says it, if he suddenly died, he would, and was wiped off the surface of this earth, he had the feeling that nobody would notice. None of his clients would notice it, because somebody else would just take his place. And so he felt this, he calls it an existential crisis. He felt this longing for a completely different life, but he just didn't know what that life was. And so he did something very, very strange for him, which was to go to a psychic medium. Yeah, that was just a very different thing. So to his great surprise, he had a very powerful spiritual experience, where she introduced him to his spirit guides, which he didn't know what was. And she explained to him it's highly evolved beings that are around us, and who we plan our lives with, and who are with us all our lives. And they talked to them, and he was shown how he actually had planned his life on earth, which was really shocking to him, because it hadn't been an easy life. And his response was, why on earth would I choose to have a life that I've had? That sounds so wrong. And so this whole new world opened up to him, and now he's trained as a hypnotherapist and has this website called yoursoulsplan.com, where he does soul regression. And so his whole message to us is that what he has learnt from all the work he has done is that we all choose our lives, and that it's actually down to the minute details. There is although we plan our lives, things do happen that make the plan change as we go, but we do choose to come to earth for some very specific reasons, and the main reason is for spiritual growth. So the planet Earth is really a school of learning and of spiritual growth. It's a place where you go to for most learning, because we have the physical plane. We go into the physical plane, which is very exciting and very fascinating, and an enormous experience for us, but also incredibly challenging. And it can be very difficult to comprehend how would someone who has a really horrific life with enormous amounts of abuse, pain, whatever, why would anyone choose that? But he says our soul has a completely different perspective than our personality in this life that we're living. So when we connect to our soul, we can see everything from a different vantage point. We can see that, oh, okay, that's right. All this pain that I've experienced in this area of my life is actually teaching me something that I could never have learnt in another way. And so he talks about the divine virtues, which are many, many different ones, but he says there's about, I think, 48 main divine virtues, which can be unconditional love, compassion, understanding, patience, self-love. There are many, many divine virtues that we come to learn, to develop in our lifetime. So I personally, I feel it's so encouraging to meet people on the internet, to find them and who I very much resonate with. It's just wonderful to see that they are out there. You don't meet them in the local supermarket usually, but there are people out there who resonate with you and see life very much in the same way, and it's just very, very encouraging. And the whole idea that everything that happens in our lives happens because we actually wanted it, and that there's a jewel in there, in that very, very difficult situation with one of our children, with our partner, with the world, our relationship to the whole world, whatever it is, there's a jewel waiting in there. There's something that we have come to find. And the quicker we find our soul's path, a chosen path, and go onto it, the quicker we will discover, okay, that's what I came to learn. And he says, because there's many interviews you can go and see on the internet, it's just fascinating. If you just write Rob Schwartz, your soul's plan, and then videos, click on videos, you've got all these different interviews where he explains all this. And sometimes he's asked, well, how do you know you're on your soul's plan? How do you know you've not strayed? And he says it's quite clear to know, because what you will feel is a sense of inner joy and excitement. You have this little joyful child. That's not how he says it, but I say it that way. This little giggling child inside you. If you have that feeling with what you're doing in your life, you are on your way to what you want to experience. And if you're not, if you've strayed from your path, you will start having big blocks in the way, and your reaction to the blocks will be that you get frustrated, you get irritated, and you try to fight through them. So that's your ego in play, and you've strayed off your path. So it's just really, really wonderful. And of course, the work that Rob Schwartz is doing is giving, he does these group sessions where people can go into past lives, experience the death after that life, which is just really, he says, when you die, you just pass through the veil, and it's a very simple process. When we leave our bodies, it's no great, big, enormous happening. But he leads people in groups, but also he does private sessions. And of course, many, many people experience how their life, everything, all the puzzle pieces in their lives falls into place, because now they can see why things are happening. And they can have an approach to life that is that brings enormous joy. So what he says is that we go from, this is really what I've been talking about all the time. We're going from this old world of pain and suffering, ego, and we're going into a new way of being where it's good. Living is good. So we're going from fear to love. We're going from victimhood to discovering that we are a creator being. We didn't come here to be a victim. We actually chose this because we are creator beings. So we are rediscovering who we really are. We have never been a victim, but we have been driven by the ego way of thinking to believe that we were victims of some strange, bad circumstances. But so that's what he's helping people do, really awaken to the fact that their soul has planned all this because our souls wish us to grow. So what an enormous gift he's bringing to the world with his system. And there, as I've mentioned so many times, there's many, many ways to help ourselves. So, but that's also really what I wish to share with these channels is how do I go from being a fearful person and a person who feels my life is against me, and that I really have to watch out because there's all these all these difficult things coming at me. How can I move from that way of thinking to understanding that I'm not a victim. I have never been a victim. It was an idea. And fear is not something that's natural for me, really. It's something I have chosen. And why have I chosen it? Because one of the reasons is because everyone else around me was fearful. So I learned that was the way to be human, to be in have a fearful approach to everything. And so as we awaken, this is a part of our awakening process, really the main process in our awakening process. We realize that was all really an illusion. That was the lie. That was me falling asleep from who I really am, because I'm actually a spirit living in this human body for a while, and I can choose. I can go down that way and I can go down that way and many other ways, but there's basically two ways of living. I can live in fear and I can live in victimhood and experience all the pain that's there, and I can choose the opposite, which is to experience myself as a creator and someone who's come here to learn and to open my heart wide up, to realize that there's no one here to hurt me, and that everything that happens to me is something I actually want, because I wish to actually realize that I am God in human form, and that God is everywhere. So this has been a wonderful, wonderful experience to meet this man, and maybe that will inspire you in some way. So yeah, what more can I share? Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the video I made some time ago, which was the mixture, the little mixture for our inner growth, and how I was talking about how we birth the earth. Just going back to that, it sounds really weird. How can we give birth to the earth? But the reason why I say this is because what you experience all around you is your perception of what is. So, as I've also mentioned before, if you have two people who are watching the same scenery or car crash or whatever it can be, they're standing there together and they're looking at the same thing, they will be experiencing two different things. And it all depends on how they're using their mind and how they see themselves. So that's the way you birth the earth, is because you have this set of ideas in your mind, and whatever comes into your eyes and ears and whatever you're perceiving around you will be filtered by your mind. So you can say afterwards, this is what I experience, this is what's happening around me. And the other person might tell a completely different story, because their filter is completely different. So that's why we're actually constantly creating our life. So that was just to go a little more into that, just explain that a little bit more. And the last thing I want to go into is also from that video, and it's about the selflessness and about how often, as a part of our ego-based way of living, we focus a lot on other people, and it can be other people's faults and trying to solve other people's problems. We are overly engaged in other people instead of ourselves. And what is the reason why we do this? So that's just come to me a few times since I made that video, because it's good to just go back and look at something again. And this is also something Rob Schwartz mentions, how one of the main divine virtues we come to earth to learn is self-love. And this is, as I see it, it is one of our main problems, that we find it so difficult to get to really to love who we are, to feel good about who we are, to be at peace with who we are. And for some of us it is so difficult, and it is because of the way that humans have been living for so long. Our parents, many of us experienced parents who had no self-love at all, and so actually it was self-hatred, and so that was one of their filters. That was the way they perceived the world and themselves. And what happens when we have such resistance towards ourselves is that often we will just hide. It sounds really strange. How can we do this? But with our attention, we simply put ourselves away into a little box and put the lid on. Keep it away, because it's too stressful to face ourselves. So therefore we spend all that attention that really is needed, which our soul, our spirit is wishing that we use to heal ourselves, we use on other people because it's much easier. And as you probably have experienced, it's easier to see the other's faults and to wish they were different. And it's easier to go and help someone and fix their lives. But going to ourselves and fixing our own lives and looking at ourselves and seeing our so-called faults, which really aren't faults, they're just it's just us that is not connected to our hearts. But all this that we are, that we contain, that is our being, is very difficult to take care of and to give attention to. So that's why in very severe cases our own personality will be completely hidden, and we will be living our lives as though in a way we're not there at all. And this is the enormous process we're in now, where this being that we are, that has been so neglected for so long, and which has really been told by our inner voice that it's worth nothing. We don't want to deal with it. It's so bad. We don't want to deal with it. This has to come up into the light, and we have to wake up to the fact that this is what we've been doing. So there's, for all of us, and for you who's watching this video and who enjoys my videos, this process is already in full bloom. So you are already very much on your way. But for many people on the earth still, their own being is completely locked away because there is such resistance towards themselves. So the awakening process is, when this happens to us, we realize, okay, there's something. Usually it will be that we feel like Rob Schwartz, we feel very unhappy. We feel there's something completely wrong. And that is that our own pure, true selves has been locked away, and we have not listened to it. So, it's taking our attention, realizing I'm putting all my attention out here, and in a way it's getting me nowhere, because I keep seeing them out there, what they're doing, spending all my attention on them, And also I'm trying to fix other people's lives, where what I can feel now is that I should just go and fix my own, which really you're not supposed to do. But what I really am really longing for is really coming home, coming into peace with me. And so this process, this enormous process for some people of just going to yourself, becoming kind to yourself, and slowly getting to the point where you actually love being you. You rejoice in being exactly you. You wish to be no one else. And you're completely at peace with yourself. That comes as we go. So, yeah, it's challenging because we have learned to think in a certain way and to act in a certain way, and everything is changing. So yeah. So that's another thing I wanted to just shine some light on. Why do we have so much focus on others? And also just going back to criticizing others. What we're doing, if you feel, and that's really what we have to do, go and ask ourselves, okay, this is also discovering the ego, discovering the pain that we are carrying on to. A very quick way to see how is the ego controlling in my life is to see, where am I criticizing people, and who am I criticizing? Who don't I like? And whatever you feel towards these people who you have a negative emotion towards, they are showing you something that you don't like within yourself. So the self-hatred or resistance to self is shown with these relationships we have to other people. It could be a certain type of race, a religion, men. I hate men. I hate women. It could be anything. The people who live in that city, oh, they're hopeless, whatever. Ask yourself, what is it you don't like about them? Oh, they're so aggressive. This is an example. They're so aggressive, or they're so selfish. And what we can do to really understand our ego, what's going on inside us, is to ask ourselves, where am I like that? Because they're, as I've said so many times before, they're mirroring something in me. So these people are so aggressive. Okay, where am I aggressive? And I can take it even further. Where am I aggressive towards myself? And that's usually what's happening. It's actually, this whole awakening process is really healing our relationship with ourselves. The way we see ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we push ourselves, the way we beat ourselves up. All that, as we heal that, we awaken completely and we are transformed, because we get to live in complete love with ourselves, set ourselves free. So when we're ready and we're brave, as Rob Schwartz says, it's only the most courageous beings that come to earth, because it's so difficult. But when we have moments in our life where we feel that we are brave and we want to go deeper, we can ask, okay, where is it I'm criticizing? What is it I'm criticizing about that in my life, that out there? And go back and ask, where am I doing this to myself? And usually there's something we're doing in our lives that is not a loving act towards who we are. So yeah, it's really fascinating how everything has a story to tell us and can teach us something. So that was a little mixture once again. And yeah, I send you all my love where you are in this world. I wish for you that you get the sense that nothing is happening without a reason, and that you are a creator being. You have the ability, the intelligence, the strength, the power, the knowing, the love, the compassion to actually create exactly what you want and what is right for you. And nothing is out to hurt you or make things difficult for you, other than what you have wished yourself. And you came here to earth with a very special light that no one, no plant, no animal, no human has, that is exactly like yours. So shine your light. And you do that by taking away every resistance or unkindness you have towards yourself, slowly letting them go. And this little playful child within you, which is the special light that you bring, will come out more and more and start to play. Start to shine. So know that your light is completely unique. No matter who you are, no matter what you've ever done, your light is so needed. And the most beautiful thing is that the more we shine our light, the more fun we have. So yeah, I'll send you all my love this day. And also, if you have any questions, please ask me, because it's wonderful to go into little areas in our lives and just look at it with the eyes of love. So take care, my friend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.